Sorry, it's muted. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Pam. Can you hear me?
I can.
Cool. How are you doing?
I'm a little tired tonight, but I've had a hat on all day. I've been out working in the yard, so not having a good hair night. But other than that, I'm doing okay.
It's a it
How
was
are
a good,
things with you?
it was a good day to work in the yard, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Tomorrow won't be bad either. A little cooler though.
Oh, but I got to go to Corvallis. I've got a nephew that's graduating from OSU, so
Oh,
I'm
grad.
I'm at graduation all weekend.
Well, thank goodness it won't be hot.
Yes, it's not 91 out. Yay.
Hey, I'll take it. Yeah. No, I'm doing okay.
Good.
Hanging in there.
Oh, that's all any of us can do.
Hope we can get a quorum tonight.
Oh, yeah.
There's Joy.
Hello.
Hey, Joy.
Joy to the
Unfortunately,
world.
I don't count towards the quorum though.
No, you don't count. Well, towards a quorum, but you do
Right.
count.
My cat is whining to get in the house. I think I can let her in 30 seconds. So I will be
Okay,
right back.
Okay.
no problem.
Okay, let's start the meeting.
Okay, hold on.
I'm teasing.
There's a lot of people in the waiting room.
Well, let's see who we got. That must be the applicant.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Yes, we hear you.
Perfect.
Why is it looking you up?
Allow. Hello,
Hello.
Hey.
Now,
I am here with my mother, Melissa, and my father, Steve.
Hi.
So I don't have I'm doing this from my phone, so I don't have a good way to show everybody all at once. So I apologize.
That is okay. You are
we'll,
here, which is helpful.
we'll forgive you.
Perfect.
We are waiting for a few more Historic Review Board members to join us in the hopes that we can get 4 Historic Review Board members so that we have a quorum, so that they can have deliberation and discuss the application and provide a recommendation to staff.
Okay.
Which means we're waiting for 2 more bodies.
Okay. How likely is that to happen?
Well, generally they come through. So
Okay. Good, good, good.
I would say 90% likely.
Okay.
but I'm not positive.
Well, we will see soon.
We do have an attendee joining us today, James Sherman or Jim Sherman. I think that Michael and I had the pleasure of meeting James earlier this week.
Yes, we did. Is he in the waiting room?
Yes.
Okay.
Not the waiting room, the attendees room.
Okay.
So James, as a little background, the Historic Review Board members all have camera capabilities and all have the ability to speak throughout the meeting. And attendees who join the meeting and want to speak about something that's not on the agenda have an opportunity near the beginning of the meeting to share what they would like to share. And if they would like to speak in support of or opposition to the land use application that is being considered by the Historic Review Board, they are able to do so after the applicant has an opportunity to provide a little overview on the project. And I was under the impression that Megan was going to join us. Apparently Darcy and I both interpreted her email incorrectly. And so I thought Megan was going to join us for a last meeting before she moves out of town. And Rick said that he is double dipping. And so he has a neighborhood meeting he has to attend part of. Usually the way that attendees for the Historic Review Board work is if they show up for part of it, they're counted towards the quorum. Even if they're not there the whole time. But that means that we need at least one other to join us so that if Rick joins us partway through, he might be the quorum. But I can email Paul and Megan and Howard and check my email and see if they're having any issues. Paul is having issues.
Come on, Paul. You can do it, Paul.
I'll send him a link, so bear with me 1 second, you all.
Well, there's Megan.
Hello.
Hi, Megan. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I had some technical issues getting into the meeting.
Paul is having those same issues, and I am sending Paul a new link.
Okay. I got two links. So one brought me in as a panelist, the other just took me into the meeting as a viewer. So he may be having the same.
And if he joins as an attendee, I can promote him to be a panelist.
Okay.
And I could have promoted you. I did not see you as an attendee.
I snuck out and jumped on the other link with suspecting that was the case.
Hopefully he's on his email. Howard. Hello, Howard.
Hi there, Howard. How are you?
Okay, Chair Schmier, we do have a quorum. Do you want to
Alrighty.
get the meeting started?
I shall start us. So welcome, quorum people, Historic Review Board people. Hope you're all well and survived the little heat wave we had and are enjoying the cooler weather. Tonight we're going to review ZO 150-25, which pertains to the Stewie Farm application. And we do have a quorum. And if and when, which I assume we will, we take a vote, we need a majority of the quorum to pass any motions that are put forth. So with that, I will hand it over to Joy to present the ZO 150-25 application.
And before I started, I wanted to see if James Sherman had anything to discuss before we start the application, or if James was just sitting there to observe. And James, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to speak, now is the time to do so. Okay. Well, presentation time. I believe that once I start the presentation, I will be less able to see the attendees. There's Paul. Great. So now I don't have to worry about it. For those of you who have been on the Historic Review Board for a while, you have seen this property in the past. And in Historic Review Board meetings, we have talked about death by 1,000 cuts and the impact that small construction projects have to the integrity of historic landmarks. However, we are also following the zoning code as we review this application. And so with that in mind, I do have one point that I would like you to consider, and I will bring that up during my presentation, okay?
Okay.
So the applicant requested the addition of an accessory structure. In the planning world, that means that it is not a home. It is a separate subordinate structure used for farm and forest purposes or residential purposes. And the Historic Review Board will be looking at the design of the structure, the location of the structure, and the scale of this to see if it is compatible with the historic structures that are on the historic landmark property. The Stew Farm does include a larger acreage. However, there are active farm fields to the north and the south of the developed site. Based on the site plan that was submitted in the original designating historic landmark file, this large structure, staff is assuming is the hops barn, which was found to be historically significant and contributing to the historical significance of the stew farm. There was also this outbuilding that there was thought may have been an original home at some point before it was converted into an outbuilding. As we discussed back in 2023, when the Historic Review Board reviewed the covered patio for carport, the historic farmhouse burned down between the time the property went through land use and the time the Board of County Commissioners signed the designating ordinance, placing a historic landmark on the property. And so there is a manufactured home on the property. It is my recollection that when the Historic Review Board reviewed the carport or covered patio area, they found that with the trees and the separation from the historic structures, that it was not detracting from the historic significance of the site. And that is one of the things that I wanted you all to think about today, is the location of the accessory structure that is being proposed. As I mentioned, when we had the site plan in front of us, or the aerial image, the historic landmark that we're looking at today is a farm complex. It's not just a house. It's not just a barn. It is a complex of structures that were believed to date to a historic period and were in association with William Stew, which is the founder of Needy. And so it had historic association as well as historic structures that were found to be significant enough to designate it as a historic landmark. I jumped over C3 because historically we have looked at that for alterations. However, it does talk about the additions of structures. And so I left it in today's presentation just to remind us that if related new construction is undertaken, it shall be done so in a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment will be unimpaired. I did not make a finding to that in my staff report, but based on the application materials, I believe that if the accessory structure was removed in the future, it would still retain the historic significance that it has today. One of the things that we look at when there's new construction is the design of the proposed structure. The compatibility and scale of the proposed structure are also aspects of the design that we look at. And the proposed design uses the board and batten siding, and it's wood. From someone who reviews building permits, I see a lot of metal pole buildings. And so to me, the fact that the applicant is proposing exterior wood sheathing and wood bats shows that they are trying to maintain the aesthetics that are compatible with the historic landmark. And that was in the application as well. So I found that the design, the proposed design, could be compatible with the historic landmark structures and significant historic landmark. C4B is the one that I would like your feedback on. The proposed pole barn is between the mobile home, the covered patio or carport, the existing barn, and it appears to be between the historic structures and the new structures. And as staff, looking at the use, it makes sense to have the pole barn near a barn from a use perspective. But from a historic perspective, I wonder if it's more appropriate to put it over towards the carport area versus towards the barn. So although I recommended approval because I found that the design was compatible, I hope that you will spend some time thinking about the location of the pole barn to see if it's in the correct spot. I think there's other areas that would avoid the drain field and be served by existing driveways. However, the question is, because of the use, is it compatible by being clustered with the barn and outbuildings with the design that is being proposed? So I was able to find that it met the criteria, and in my recommendation, I did note that I look forward to your guidance. And with that, I will end my presentation.
Thank you, Joy. Is this the point where we hear from the applicant?
It is, yes.
Take it away, Seth.
Okay, I finally got it to unmute. All right, so the plan here, I don't know what the expectation is from me right now. What would you like to know, or like our thought process on where we were putting it and why?
That may be helpful to hear. Yeah.
Okay. The so if you're looking at that site plan, there's one main driveway that serves the property. Previous to even the carport, we had put in a driveway to serve as uh, a mobile home access, as my parents took care of their parents, my grandparents, um, my grandma specifically. And we didn't know that we couldn't just go off. So we pulled everything back. So you'll see that there's an accessory driveway to the south side of the permanent driveway that we don't access currently. The main driveway that comes in, as it goes, there's a road that goes straight into the hop barn, and then there's a road that goes to the right, and it wraps all the way around the barn to the back side. I guess which would be the northeast side of that building. So that the way it looks to us and how we use this property, knowing that how the historical side of this is from the 2023 meeting, we tried to take all of that into consideration and make sure that we were putting these things closer to just the mobile home, placing this building so that way we can get our wood shop in and get our kind of a mechanics bay, if you will, to be able to maintain equipment, etc. And then it'll be a small storage space and craft room for my mom. We tried to keep it clustered, but still have it accessible, because our goal is for the granary and the original structure, supposedly from 1895-ish. We want to get a foundation back underneath it. We want to bring this back to life. So we wanted to place that relatively close to where that work is going to be done, because that's going to serve as our wood shop, and a lot of the work that's going to be done on these buildings will be happening in there. So we tried to cluster it on that side of the driveway. So that way it doesn't detract from the 3 existing buildings. There's also a milk house there that was added way later, but still is part of that complex, that structure, that set of structures. So that was our thought process behind it. We want to do everything in our power to help keep the historic significance of the property. Yeah, I think it's really cool that all of this has kind of come to be. I learned a lot in 2023. It's been kind of a hard fought battle, health issues and some family stuff, but we're on our way forward, even though it's taking us longer. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you,
Would
Seth.
you say again what you're gonna be using the building for?
So there is going to be a wood shop in the back side of the building. In the front side of the building, if you've reviewed the plans, you'll see that there is 3 bay doors. That will be a spot where we can bring in wood, beams. We can also maintain the tractors and equipment that we need on the farm to keep these guys going. And then there's going to be a small 1 bay, 12-foot by 36 that's going to be intended for mainly storage, but a spot where my mom can pull out her Cricut cutter and sewing machines and all of that stuff to craft. So kind of a trifecta use of the building. We were thinking about going larger. We wanted to bring it down in size so it didn't overtake everything. We don't want it to be the spectacle. So that's kind of the intended use of that building right now.
Okay, thank you.
There's the 3 bays that Seth just mentioned.
Yeah. Pam had her hand up.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that perpendicular structure to the hot barn is actually a milk house. I couldn't tell if that's actually connected or not.
No, it is not. A long time ago with the previous inhabitants of this farm, if any of you have followed the history of this place, it was, for lack of a better term, a pigsty. There was a lot of people that should not have been here. They did a lot of things that we really are not happy about. So we've tried our best to clean up as much as possible and bring it back to life instead of tearing it all down. So
All right. And then I would have to double check because I thought I had the original historic application open, but apparently I don't any longer. I thought the milk house was also on that. Joy, do you remember?
Also on what?
The milk house that's there perpendicular, that little structure perpendicular to the hot barn. I think I remember seeing that the milk house was also on the original historic application.
I'll have to bring it up. So I'll do that while you guys continue your discussion.
Okay,
I believe,
my
I
questions.
believe the milk house came like in the 30s, 40s. Somebody, when it was on the historical thing, it said they didn't know the date of when it came, but it was long after the granary and the barn. It was there when I came to the farm in 1962, and it was like a 4 bay milk house. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have 2 other hands. I didn't see who raised their hand first, so I believe in the ladies first rule. Megan,
Well, I actually think Paul had his hand up before me.
too bad.
Okay, I'll be quick. I was just, I don't know if you could put the photo back up, Joy, or if I can share my screen, but I'm having trouble orienting the site plan because it's a different direction than the photo, and I just wanted to look at the photo and understand exactly where the building is proposed. I was trying to turn the site plan around to So is it on the, I don't know what direction, on oh, it's right there. So it's on the other side of the trees from the house, closer to the barn.
So technically, it is where the trees are at. Those trees have been removed. And there was
Okay.
an existing dilapidated building that was there. That has been removed. It was never really a foundation. It was just kind of on some pier blocks. That's all been removed. So where those trees are at is where this building is gonna sit.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I agree, Megan. That was very confusing. It took me a long time to figure out the narrative, and the site plan did not match the aerial photo.
Yeah, the aerial,
Very
it's
difficult.
recent in the last probably 3 months.
During the ice storm, the trees broke. And so we took those down, and the shed was a shed that my mom and dad bought in 1975-ish from the Canby High School building department. And it was not on a foundation. It was just set there and it had rotted.
It was pretty dilapidated.
Okay, so the access to that structure is going to be the driveway on the top of this picture, or the bottom of this picture?
The top, so right where,
So
right
it's where the
mouse
cursor is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank
it's
you
gonna
so
be
much.
coming off of that, yep.
This is the aerial imagery from January.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a little more sense.
I looked and looked, Joy, and I could not find a new photo.
This is thanks to the tax office.
The county GIS.
Tax assessor and looked at the maps, and they were the same. So I'm like, oh, I tried Google Earth, I tried Yahoo Maps, I tried everything.
That's the barn would be here. Yeah.
Clackamas County's tax website has a link to their GIS site, and it's amazing for update photos, maps and photos.
Is that available to the public, or is that just to
Yeah.
county officials?
Nope, you just
Okay.
go to the county assessor's website and you can search by address and see all the tax documents and historic surveys and stuff.
Amazing.
Did that help, Megan?
Yes, that's exactly what I needed. Thank you so much.
Then Paul, I turn it over to you.
Thank you. I'm still in this locating it is if there isn't the old driveway where you that's no, that's that, yeah, that area right there. Now, what is the white the building right there at that one? Yeah.
Okay, so that's just a mobile shed. So that driveway that's there, that's
Yes.
not that is not the original driveway.
The
That
original's
is-
on the other side.
Yeah, so that is the original driveway.
And the county made us pull that road. We didn't know that we couldn't connect it to the road. We didn't know that we needed permits. And we had poured all the gravel, put all the ground cloth, did all the stuff, but we didn't know. And then I can't remember his name. It's not gonna come to me. Romero? Anyway, a county guy came and said we had to get that back. So we had to push that road back 12 feet off of the pavement and put a log that we would not use it.
Okay, that helps solve one of my issues, because I was trying to figure out if there couldn't be a better place to locate it over somewhere like where the 1200 sign is on the map. Yep, right in that area.
Okay.
And trying to see if, but I
Yeah, they were gonna charge us by the time we did all the pavement and had professionals and got permits and all that, it was gonna be like $40,000. And he said, well, you can just pull the road back, and that's what we chose to do.
smart. Okay. I was just trying to find out if there was an alternative place where it could be put that that didn't impact the drain field and the rest of it, just to get it away from the historic structures. Anyway, that's answers that. Thank you.
And that's why we've put it where we have, is because of the drain field and the septic. We can't go out by the pavilion. So the only other place was out by the garden, but then there's the farming capabilities and there's things that could run into that. So it was like it's better to have it where we have proposed.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just one. I don't see any additional landscape plan included in the packet. Is there one?
No,
No,
there's no landscaping, so it is just gonna be a building that
because the
comes up.
space behind it we use for gardening. So there won't be any more landscaping. Unless it's something you guys say we have to do.
Can I
We're
ask?
trying to keep everything simple. We're both aging out. I have a really bad back and bad knees. So we're keeping it simple as far as landscaping.
Megan, you have a question?
Yeah, the historic hops barn, is that in use or is it is the structure sound enough to be in use?
No.
No, insurance won't cover it. There are some
I
things in
remember.
there,
Okay. Yeah, I
but
remember that from last time. Yeah,
And when the wind blows, it moves
that's right.
from north to south.
Okay.
so if we can get
So-
to it, we would like to, but
We're gonna
we
start
don't
with the-
know, we don't know if it's worth right off the bat.
Yes.
We had somebody
So-
give us a bid and they said, you're looking at $300,000 to $400,000 to fix the barn up, which we don't have.
So you currently don't have a farm maintenance shop or a place to work on tractors or farm equipment?
We
Nothing.
store stuff in there and we hope that nothing falls. So
We have
when
a
we
barn
get
like that.
this, when
Yeah.
we get this pole barn, then all the things that are in there are gonna come into the pole barn. Our tractors, our brush hogs, our zero turn lawn mowers, all of those kinds of things. Our rototiller, yeah.
The stuff.
Okay, any other questions? Last minute questions here? Hopefully we have sufficiently discussed Joy's main question for us regarding the location of the proposed building.
Well, if I could just chip in, if that's where it needs to be and it can go there, I think it's behooved on us to help them make this thing happen and make the whole place stay solvent and workable. And it's just there's no perfect world, and so this is my recommendation, if we close the hearing or deal, would be to move to approve.
Well, my thoughts on the whole thing are that it's a working farm.
Yep.
And you we don't want to stand in the way of their ability to farm it, because being able to farm it is what's preserving it. So I'm kind of in your camp there, Paul. Any
Yeah.
other thoughts about it? Any other discussion at the moment?
I'm if we're taking opinions, I'm in that camp as well. Paul and I are on the same side this time. Being a fifth being a fifth generation farmer and knowing how hard it is to farm and on small scale in Clackamas County, anything that we can do that they're not tearing down the historic structures, it might come down on its own, it sounds like. And knowing that those trees already came down, so we're not taking out any mature landscaping. Even though it is a little close to the historic building, it does make the farm functional, and I really appreciate the design of the structure being more to the period and not just, the modern steel and metal materials, which are fine, but would be more of a detraction. I feel like this structure would blend into the aesthetic of the
matched
property.
to the pavilion that we built. So
Mhm.
it's got the batten board and we're gonna paint it the same color, so there'll be continuity.
Yeah. I think that I don't see anything that screams, we're getting rid of another, historic property. I think you really did your due diligence to seamlessly move it in. And I just feel for you not having a place to work on your tractors and get out of the weather. And the
Yes.
more that
And the
equipment sits
woodworking
out, the
shop.
more it wears out. Yeah. We lost our woodworking setup to a fire. So
Oh,
I
It's not
know
good.
just when you're trying to build things and make profit and keep your farm solvent, that having a structure to do so is imperative.
so a question I have, when we get to the point that the pole, if you approve it and the pole barn's built, where do we go to know how to facilitate bringing the granary back to its glory? What rules, and are there books, or is there something that we need to follow?
Joy, is there any consultants or anybody that we have that does not bankrupt a small business that can help guide them in what could be proactively done?
Do you,
Because like there's no windows. How do you know what kind of windows are appropriate? The foundation, how do we know what kind of foundation to put under? Obviously the roof, you've talked about the last with the pavilion, that metal is fine. So we know that we can do metal, but what kind of siding on that? It's a lap siding and some of it's shingles on the front. Do we have to stay with that? How do we know what its glory was?
I would recommend you reach out to a couple of organizations. I think, did we lose? We did. Okay, so Restore Oregon is a great organization. They have grant money and consultants and people that can help you find those answers. They'll work
Okay.
with the county and the Clackamas County Historical Society and the Wilmer Gardner Research Library can maybe pull up some previous details or information of the historic area to that location and maybe find some photos and reference and help you put those details together. And then there's several preservation organizations within the county and the state that not only have grants, but they have people that you can get those questions answered and
Okay.
help you. And then, I think for your building, you had an architect, so they can also
Yes, we
help
did.
piece together some of those details. But Restore Oregon would be a great place to start. That's the one
Okay.
I can think of at the top of my head. That's what they do, and they have a whole volunteer base that are knowledgeable and can help you put the history together and then tell you what's in alignment with that history.
All right. Thank you.
and then remember to come back to the Historic Review Board before submitting your building permits.
Yeah, I realized that halfway through and I was like, I was kicking myself because the other one was from 2023 and this was all me. And I've been kicking myself for the last 3 months thinking,
What did we do?
how did we not get this done sooner? So
Oh, is that what? Okay.
Are there any,
we all care. That's this saving a historic farm and structures is something that we all care about. So please know that this is not, you're not, somebody should not be ever adversary.
is there any last minute discussion before we move forward? Pam, you have a
I
hand?
have just a little bit, because I don't disagree with anything that has been said so far. I agree with the staff report. I think Joy did a wonderful job with that. I agree with all of you on let's keep this farm up and running and doing what we can. It's important. They are going to try to save the historic barn, and that's fabulous and wonderful and fully supported. I actually spent quite a bit of time with this, and because number one, like I said before, the aerial didn't match the narrative nor the site plan. And so it was very hard. So I had actually taken scale to everything here to try to figure out where this is being placed and how big it really is and what it's going to look like and where are the doors. And it for me, the only issue I have is the same one Joy had, in that for me a road isn't quite separation, especially on a working farm. Um, but you know, you've got the doors. If you draw a circle around the working area there, you guys have done a really nice job in placement to get it to work with the other barn, and that's great. But I do still have a problem with just a little bit of separation. That's kind of why I asked the landscape plan. I'm not suggesting you do more landscape because Lord knows I'm trying to do a low to no myself. So I'm not proposing that, but possibly where the straight road comes in and the other road comes off of it at the right for the entrance to the new barn. At that entrance on the left hand side, if maybe you could put just a small little fence or something to draw your eye to the hop barn instead of the new barn. I think that might be a low maintenance, pretty easy thing to allow just a little visual separation. So the new barn, you know, as you're coming down the main road, your eye doesn't get focused off of what's in front of you. So
When you come in, if you were to come and drive in, you will see, you won't see the barn. It goes at an angle, and that big grove of trees, you see directly to the barn. There will be no visual or minimal visual of the pole barn.
Have you been able to drive by the property at all?
no, I have not.
If you would like to, please come out. I would love to walk you through what we're doing if you're interested. And then you can see what we're talking about. But I know what you're meaning by that fence. And right there is a small grove of trees. I don't know if you can share your screen again, Joy.
Because it's probably 30 foot across at least of trees. So when you come in, you don't even see the curvature of the road when you drive in. You just see the old barn.
Mhm.
Yeah, that access is very strong
Yes.
access there.
And then it makes, curves to the right. And then that's where the pole barn will be. But you don't see it. You won't see it from the road. Now, if you're coming from the south, you'll see a little bit of that. But if you're coming straight in, and if you're coming from the north, you won't see it at all.
So
'Cause the
how
barns-
how big are those trees on that corner there?
Oh, I'd say they're 30 feet
feet?
tall.
Yeah.
And
that's
how
30.
how high are the trunks off the ground?
Everything is
Or are they limbed up?
full, not limbed up at all. It's all to the ground.
It goes clear to
It's
the
like
ground?
a cave. You walk in on the one side, it's carved out a little, and you go inside to these trees, and it's like a real cool sitting area.
So if you're seeing that, yeah, those trees there, 30 to 40 feet tall, I would say. Sorry, I
All right.
just switched to the screen share site. I apologize.
That's okay. It's just we can't always tell everything from from an
Oh,
area.
absolutely. It makes it hard, especially when photos aren't updated and such. So
Yeah. So no, I'm happy with that. So thank you guys very much.
yeah, absolutely.
Just want a little some little sense of separation, and I think that'll give it to us.
Okay.
Well, I think we're at a point where I'm seeing some positive feedback here, and I think it's time to see if there's a motion. Paul, you're the one that always makes the motions. Come on.
I don't have the nomenclature right in front of me right now, but if somebody does, to spell it out in the correct way.
It's ZO 150-25.
ZO 150 dash, I move to approve ZO 150 5.
25.
What?
25.
25. Okay,
25.
okay,
So you're moving to approve staff recommendations for
yes,
ZO 150-25. Is
yes.
there a second to that motion?
I'll
A second.
Megan, did you second
Megan
that?
and Megan and I'll second it.
Yeah,
We have
we
two seconds.
co-seconded it. Yep.
That's almost like a third. Very good. I hear a motion to approve and seconded and thirded it. And may I see a show of hands to approve? It looks like we have approval. Madam Staff Person, you have approval.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
I guess there's more on the agenda, is there not?
So there are a couple of terms that officially ended at the end of April, Megan and Howard. And Howard reapplied, and we had an applicant to fill Megan's position. Megan chose not to reapply. Would you like to share?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna miss you guys tremendously. This has been really enjoyable to be a part of, but I'm actually moving out of state, out of the county, out of state. So I wanted to come on today and say goodbye.
You will be missed, Megan. I
Yeah.
know a lot of organizations are going to miss you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's bittersweet. I'm moving into different historic research zones, but I'll still have our farm and my heart in Clackamas County. So I'm happy to pop in and say hello or watch future sessions just to see what's going on. But it's been fun getting to know all of you and contributing a tiny bit. I've only been here a short while, but
It's
thank you.
fun to have somebody with the history you have to contribute. I worked one summer on a college classmate's parents' dairy farm, and that experience made me never question the price of milk.
Yeah, good for you, Paul.
Never. So
Well, we're
I-
always looking for help, Paul. So if you want to get a little bit of farming in, we won't make you do the hard stuff. You're welcome to come out.
it's nothing but I just applaud everyone that does this, and I appreciate everyone that cares. To me, just cares about history and protecting of our businesses and the culture. It's just critical.
Thank you, Megan, for contributing to the Historic Review Board and Clackamas County's preservation efforts.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much,
Enjoyable. Yeah, enjoy. Just always impressed by how much work and care you put into all the staff review and what you do just in your day job. I don't know how you do it all, but it's been nice working with you for a short time.
Thank you. So the next step for officially reappointing Howard and appointing James would be for the Board of County Commissioners to approve their applications. And that is taken care of through the Public and Government Affairs staff. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Do we have an opportunity to reappoint Michael to chair the Historic Review Board right now? He seems like he
I don't know when my term is up.
Well, good. That's
Joy would. I don't have that committed to memory.
I think you were secretly reappointed last year.
Oh, secretly. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I volunteer.
I'm not positive about that,
A
but
super secret appointment.
Never
but
works, right?
so I asked about appointing officers for the Historic Review Board at a previous meeting, and you all mentioned that you wanted to wait until the new members were official.
Yeah.
And so we don't have official members at this meeting, Paul. If
Okay.
your sentiment has changed since then, you guys can elect officers. But if you want to wait, it would probably be at the August or September meeting.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Good enough. Is there
We-
anything else on the agenda, Joy?
Upcoming reviews. We do have an application that was received. Oh, Seth, you're welcome to jump off. Your piece
Okay.
is done.
That's what I was
Um,
wondering.
Yes, thank you for
Okay.
attending. Your input is very appreciated.
Now,
Thank
can
you.
we pick up our permit tomorrow or
I
is that a
think-
Monday thing?
I think you have to do one thing to give it back to me.
Okay, I'll make sure and get that done.
Do something on your side that's a task, and then it'll come back to me, okay?
Okay,
All
Perfect.
right, thank you.
thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you
Bye.
all.
Bye-bye.
Seth.
So we do have an application that was received this week that will be coming to you. Due to vacation, I'm not available in July. I don't know if you want to hold a special meeting later in the month. But state law gives us 30 days to review it for completeness. It has not been reviewed for completeness yet. And so I believe that August will be an appropriate time to have the Historic Review Board meet. So be prepared to have an August meeting if you all are in town.
Second Thursday.
So that would be the 14th.
Put it on my calendar.
14th of August.
Let me look. I might be really busy that day. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, we only need
Oh,
4 of
looky.
you.
Looky
At
here.
this
it's
point, I can
empty.
make it.
Me too.
Great. And then I shared with Michael earlier this week that I have had a couple of pre-application conferences with applicants interested in designating new historic landmarks. So I am hopeful that by the end of the year, we'll have an application for you all to consider a new historic landmark.
Paul's jaw just dropped.
No. No, this is wonderful.
2 of the 3 sounded very convinced. So we will see. Okay.
Well,
And
we
that
look-
is all I have about upcoming reviews.
Excellent. Well, we had a good meeting tonight and I look forward to an August meeting and the possibility of reviewing 2 new historic designations. So we'll see how that goes. All righty. Do I hear a motion to close the meeting?
I move to close it.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll put my last second in.
Hey, Megan. Megan's doing her
Go
last.
for it, Megan.
All
Thanks,
those in
Pam.
favor,
Thanks for
raise
that
your
one.
hands. Motion carried. Thank you, Joy, for another good meeting. Appreciate it.
Good night,
And I-
everyone.
And I bid
Good
you
night.
all evening.
Bye.
Goodbye.